It is tomorrow. Is he expected to say something different? Is he to be defiant or nuanced or more information?
Well, it's hard to tell with Secretary Hagel. We all recall, of course, his confirmation appearance, which by all accounts, even here in the building, was pretty much a disaster.
Yeah.
But folks here in the building say he's up to speed on this. He's going to make it clear that this was a unanimous decision across the board within the government, and it had to be done with speed and rapidity because, as we've heard the administration say previously, they felt that Bo Bergdahl's life was at risk. I can tell you, however, that early proclamations or declarations or statements from the administration that the Taliban had threatened to kill Bo Bergdahl if, in fact, information leaked out in advance, which is why their excuse for not informing Congress before the actual event.
Okay.
We are told categorically by senior defense officials that is absolutely not true. The Taliban did not threaten to kill Bo Bergdahl. They did say, however, that there was concern as the war dragged on and winded down, actually, and American troops started to withdraw, that they felt that Bo Bergdahl just didn't have the cachet anymore, and they might be driven to kill him. It was speculation, not a threat.
Mick, we're going to bring Joe Scarborough in, and Joe, I just feel like this week we have used the word Taliban in many different ways, and it's as we cover this breaking news, I wonder how many dots we can actually connect here, or are they all just completely isolated situations?
You know what, we will see. I don't think they're isolated, but Mick, I want to ask you, you brought up something I was going to say out of the segment, but you brought up something that I've been hearing from a lot of people inside the Pentagon and outside of the Pentagon. A lot of people in the military culture very offended by the Rose Garden ceremony, and they have said that what the president's excuses were for getting him out did not hold up. Military officials telling me that the Taliban was not going to kill him, that he was like their golden goose. I mean, he was their ace of spades. They were not going to get rid of him. And that the president, I have somebody here who said he wasn't near death. It didn't happen quickly. They would have never killed him if it had leaked. And what this really is a cover for is the President of the United States basically saying he can't trust Dianne Feinstein, and he can't trust Saxby Chambliss, and he can't trust Nancy Pelosi and these people with this information. Are you hearing that from the military community, that they don't buy this, and many are offended by the Rose Garden ceremony?
Well, you know, and let's go back to December if we could, because the administration cites this proof of life video, which showed Bergdahl in failing health, and according to the administration again, there was fear that he was on the verge of death. But at the time that video, sources told us that yeah, he looks like his health is failing, but he doesn't certainly look in danger. And we've been subsequently told that medical teams who studied that tape said, yeah, he's probably not eating as well as he should, but he does not appear to be in grave danger. It does not appear that his life is threatened by his condition. And the fact that his speech was slurred, there's some speculation that either he was very tired, sleep deprivation, or maybe even drugged. But I can tell you categorically, again, across the board, people in this building are saying that tape did not show that his life was in danger.
A lot of questions still. Jim Miklaszewski, thank you so much as we cover this breaking news as well. Up next, what stands in Facebook's way for global domination and how the company's latest hire impacts that quest. Morning Joe will be right back.